Hi, I'm doing another review, and I haven't done reviews in a long time because no one watches my videos. Little knows, but I really wanted to do another one. I don't think this is gonna be like a thing I do now, but The Hobbit, the Desolation of Smaug. Honestly, the first Hobbit movie I wasn't the biggest fan of. I thought it was kind of boring, and I think also I had just finished the Lord of the Rings movies, and I love the cast in those movies so much. Like, I think they did such a great job at the casting. And the cast were like brothers, they got along, they were like a family, they were very close, off and on camera, and I know they're still friends, and but they don't get to see each other as much anymore, and it's kind of sad. But I know, like on Twitter, Elijah, Dominique, and Billy, they talk quite a bit between them sometimes. Um, so they still kind of keep in contact. But like when they see each other in the real life, like out and about, they do still like they're like, oh no, they get excited to see each other. So they're still, they're still good. They're still close for as much as they can still be. It's been 10 years since the first movie came out, so a lot of changes that they've gone through, and a lot of things that they've gone through, and it's hard to keep in contact, especially with as many people that are in the cast. It's kind of hard to keep in contact with that many people, but the Hobbit cast to me doesn't feel as close as the Lord of the Rings cast. And I think that's what kind of threw me off a little bit. I mean, I haven't seen like behind the scenes of The Hobbit or anything, so maybe they're close. But Lord of the Rings goes out and like all that. There's a lot of press, and there's a lot of interviews and pictures and stuff like that, and like you would read like how close they were, and you would see the pictures, and you would hear the interviews, and you would like, oh, they're really close and they're really good friends. But in The Hobbit, I feel like The Hobbit hasn't gotten nearly as much as attention as Lord of the Rings got. For some reason, it's so weird. Like, just the comparisons between that. It's like Lord of the Rings, they won Oscars, they were nominated for awards, they did interviews, they did press, they like it was like a big deal. The Hobbit films are not a big deal. They have not been nominated for anything. No, the actors have not been nominated for anything. There's no press. There's no interviews that I know of or I've heard of. So it's kind of, I don't know why, it's kind of like they're kind of being like ignored for some reason. And I know, I mean, from what I know, they've done well in the box office, but then no one talks about it. Like, I haven't heard many people talking about the two movies, and the third one's coming out, I believe, in December. It's coming out on either this month or next month, I forget. But it's like it's done, and there's no one really talking about them, and it's kind of weird. This isn't really a review really anymore. It's more like a discussion, I guess. But I don't know why. I don't know why the Hobbit movies have kind of been pushed aside so much. Um, I think maybe like the first Hobbit film, a lot of people didn't like it. I didn't really like it. A lot of people thought it was boring. They didn't really get attached. They don't really feel like a connection to the first one. I felt the same way, and maybe that's why it was like a big deal not to not. And I think maybe because the first movie, people were kind of underwhelmed by it, so maybe that's why they're not bringing as much attention to it anymore. But I think the second part was so good. It was so much better than the first part. It was more action. It was interesting. It had Orlando Bloom. And I know so many people are like, Legolas shouldn't be here because he's not in the Hobbit book. I don't care. I don't care if they brought back the entire Lord of the Rings cast to do the Hobbit. I don't care because I love the Lord of the Rings cast so much more than I love this cast. So I don't care how they would have. I think they had a hologram of the entire Lord of the Rings cast in the back. I would have been just fine with that. Like, I want all the cast to be in Hobbit movies because I love the cast. But Orlando's in it, and I was so excited, and so cool. It was so nice to see him. It was like a kind of a breath of fresh air for me because I love Orlando and I love Legolas, and he was like one of my first celebrity crushes because of the pictures I saw of him as Legolas, and I love him so much, and I was so excited, and it was so much fun to see him with his bow and arrow again, and like killing orcs and beating people up and like being all Legolas like, and it was so cool. I've missed him so much. I have missed him being Legolas so much. And I guess to play him is in the third movie, and this is the last time he's ever gonna play him. And it's kind of sad to think of that. It's kind of sad that he'll never do that again. You never see another Legolas again. But I just love him. But what I will say about Orlando is they made him look really weird. I don't know what it is. Like, his eyes were very blue, and I think it was CGI. And I don't know why they did it because it looks so weird. I was looking at pictures of Lord of the Rings, and he had blue eyes. He has obviously contacts. Long does not have blue eyes, but it was like his eyes were blue, but they were like normal blue. It wasn't like crazy. And this is like they're bright blue, and I would think it was CGI because of how blue they were. But I feel like it messed with his face in a weird way. It was kind of weird. And I also know because he's getting older, so he doesn't look like, yeah, I think he'll like in his like 21, 22, somewhere around there, when he did the first Lord of the Rings. And obviously he looked so much younger in the first Lord of the Rings movie than he does now. And I think it's just his age that's kind of catching up with him now. Not that he looks bad. He still looks young. He still looks great. He's Orlando. He always looks great. But I feel like his age kind of caught up with him too. So he doesn't. Everyone like he doesn't look young as he did in the Lord of the Rings. I'm like, has it been 10 years? You know, He's not gonna look like he did in the first Lord of the Rings movie, but. He looks great, I think, still. Even though his eyes look kind of off. I do love him in this movie, and I wish they could have done more Lord of the Rings movies, because I don't want to say goodbye to Legolas at all. I'm so sad that he's gone. Like, after this couple months, there's no more Legolas. And, makes me kind of sad. But, anyway, if you've seen the Hobbit movies, what do you think of them? And do you feel any sort of connection to the cast? I don't really still feel a connection to them. Like I did with Lord of the Rings. But, not me now. I don't know.